Hey guys, King of Charmanders here. Alright, so I was asked to make a video on the recent rise of Ho-Oh. Now, if you guys don't know, this is one of the most legendary Generation 2 Pokemon ever. Ho-Oh is a staple in the original games, really popular, even has its own game along with Lugia called Pokemon Gold and Pokemon, what was it? Heart Gold? Yes. So because of that, it's an incredibly popular mon, and not only that, it's been a long time overdue for a power-up for Pokemon Go. Now, the good thing about Ho-Oh is that it has really good stats. It sports a really balanced stat product for Master League, so it can survive several attacks. Even though it's a fire and flying type, so of course, as you see here, rock does hurt a lot. However, with Ho-Oh's new move, it's very strong against a lot of mons. And fire and flying typing, if you think about it, isn't so bad. You want to know why? Because you resist a lot of things. You take out those fighters, those conquerors are going to have to be careful if they don't have any shields, because you do beat fighting types. You resist flying types. And you do beat flying types because it does have sky attack. You resist flying. I mean, not resist flying. You resist fairy, fighting, as well as ground and steel. It's very powerful. Against Dialga, it resists Dialga's Iron Heads. It resists the charms from Togekiss. It resists those counters and those dynamic punches from Conkeldurrs and those crotch chops from Machamp. And it also resists ground attacks. So things like, let's see, Earthquake isn't going to affect you much. At the same time, with this resistance, you effectively wall Groudon. So, what Ho-Oh was missing for a very long time was a really good fast attack. The question is, the new fast attack, Incinerate, does it give it good enough play in Go Battle League? That's what we're going to take a look at today. As you see here, it sports a very interesting moveset. It does have Incinerate now. It hasn't been updated here, but Incinerate is what makes Ho-Oh really good. It does a heavy amount of damage. Well, not super heavy, but generates a lot of energy. And it only takes a few... It's very versatile as well. Generates energy quickly. It's a little slow, but other than that, it does very well. As you see, it sports Brave Bird. It also sports Earthquake, Solar Beam, Fire Blast. It has a very versatile charge move pool. And in this meta, it's able to deal a heavy amount of damage if it lands the Brave Bird, or if it hits Earthquake. Now, the problem with this is that Earthquake is actually Legacy. A little while ago, it was a little bit before I started covering events, Ho actually got a special move for, I believe it was like GoFest event or like Johto event, to where you got a Ho with Earthquake. That makes it a little expensive. Along with that, we haven't seen Ho-Oh in a very long time. We have seen it a lot in like released in raids. However, we haven't really seen it recently as much as we would hope. Along with that, like I said, because Earthquake is a legacy move, it's gonna be really expensive. So Ho-Oh with Earthquake is legacy. And at the same time, because it is legendary, you cost 100k dust. To max it out for Master League takes level 40, and it's extremely powerful, but it costs a lot of Stardust. It's very powerful for this cup. You're going to see it in the rankings as well as the Matrix. However, it's going to cost you a little, it's going to be a little expensive if you want to use Ho-Oh for Master League. Now, as you see, here's the PV Poke rankings, and a noticeable Pokemon has made it into the top 5. Enter Ho-Oh. Because of Incinerate, Ho-Oh is now the number 3 Pokemon overall. It is extremely powerful. And it's largely due, remember those resistances I told you? It's very strong against the strongest mon that has taken Go Battle League by storm in Master League for the longest time, Dialga. As you see here, you beat it very handily. You do resist Iron Head, Dragon Breath still hurts, but you resist the Iron Heads, and it takes a lot to get to Draco Meteor. And with Togekiss here, you do resist those charms. So you effectively wall Togekiss. Guess what you also beat? You also beat Melmetal, and you effectively wall Groudon. You resist all of Groudon's moves. As you see here, you beat it very handily, except in the zeros. And as you see, it's very strong ratings across the board. So you are very strong against a lot of the meta. That's what makes Ho-Oh so good. Now, Ho-Oh, as you see, is best used in the lead or the closer. There are better things to use in a switch, so you don't really want to use it as a switch. But it also is dangerous because while you do beat a lot of the mostly strong meta, you also have some weaknesses. Some notable ones: Giratina, Kyogre, Gear Altered, Dragonite, and the newly powered up Lugia. So there are some you have to watch out for, but it's very, very powerful, especially in the closer and the lead, like I said. In the lead, Ho-Oh sports at number 2, other than Groudon. This is nuts, because in this slot, it used to be Dialga and Melmetal. As you see, because Ho-Oh is a fire type, it takes on the steel types like a monster, and it does resist Togekiss. It is very, very powerful. In the closer, Ho-Oh ranks at number 10. Still good, top 10, eliminates a lot of the meta. You will one-shot all the steel types. You will destroy them. You also beat Gear Altered, and you also beat Mewtwo. Unfortunately, at this time, because Togekiss does have Ancient Power, you will lose in the closer. But that's not much of a problem. You still beat it very strong, still very strong against Togekiss and others. Now, you will lose against Kyogre. Be very careful. And it kind of flips. Like, for example, you lose against Groudon too. But these aren't that bad. As you see, these ratings, 512 and 506, are really close. So if you have damage on these already, you're going to kill them. And like I said, you're still very strong in a lot of areas. As you see here, you beat Togekiss in a lot of scenarios. You beat in a lot of scenarios, and it's not even bad in a closer. In the closer, as you see here, Togekiss wins with only 4 HP. So like I said, as long as you do a little bit of damage, you will beat it in the zeros. And that's what it is. It's just so good in this league. It effectively, the problem with it is that you can't find a good one. Or, not really, you can't find a good one. It's hard to find a good one because this was from research. So you're going to have to spend an Elite TM to get your Ho-Oh into an Earthquake. And you're going to have to pray you have a good one. It's been out a lot, but if you don't have a perfect one, there is some difference between level 40 and 41. I took a look at it a little bit, and I did notice that level 40 and 41 guarantees something. So we'll take a look at that in the Matrix. I will use a level 40 Ho-Oh as well as a level 41 in our comparison. Alright, so as you see, here's the Matrix, our favorite part of the video. Well, my favorite part, because we actually see what beats what, and if it's close or if it's not close. So I have Ho-Oh at level 40 here, and then I have Ho-Oh at level 41. So we're going to see... Well, actually, hold on. Give me 1 second. I forgot to put that level 41. Okay, now it's level 41. Okay, wait, hold on. No, okay, there. Are we good? We good? Okay, we're good. Okay, as you see, we have the Master League meta in the right, and when we run the sim... Here we get the lead. This is the 2 shields. So assuming 2 to 2s, and then you go in. So the 2 shields kind of bad. I know Ho-Oh is a great league against most patterns, but I think that assumes if you're leading against Groudon, let's see, against Groudon, Togekiss, and Metagross. So you do very well in the 2 shield against a lot of relevant Metamons. However, you lose against a lot. I think this was kind of like when I first started looking at Ho-Oh, I was like, it's a fire type. So we got plenty of dragons running around. You have the whale running around, and you also have this unhuman godly thing. Says the thing about it is that Incinerate does neutral damage because even though Dialga is steel, it's also dragon. So that's the issue here. Melmetal even beats your soul in the 2 shield because with Melmetal actually just rock slides you to death. So the 2 shield isn't really Ho-Oh's best friend. It's best in the lead, but if you don't convincingly win the lead, I would say switch out right away. Well, that's what you're supposed to do anyways, but if you don't feel like you can convincingly beat the lead, try and switch out because like I said, these aren't very comfortable matchups for you. Now, on the 1 shield, that might be a different story. Maybe that's why Ho is not great as a switch, because if you switch lock yourself into something that's really bad, like over here, it's going to be rough. Now, the 1 shield is where Ho shines. The 1 shield, you beat Conkeldurr, you also beat Dialga. Now, I'm not sure, you beat the Draco Meteor version, but you don't beat the Thunder version. So I think you might see a lot of more Thunder Dialgas to try and counter Ho-Oh, because it looks like with Thunder Dialga actually beats Ho-Oh in all shield scenarios. So this is going to be really interesting how Dialga adapts to Ho-Oh as in the meta. So as you see here, Dialga, Conkeldurr, you beat in the ones. You lose against the Gira O or Gira A just because these two are just so strong. particularly Gear A. Gear A is a thick boy, so unless you have it in the closer, you actually don't beat it. So just be very careful. As long as Gear A has shields, it's not going anywhere. You do have strong matchups in Groudon and against... Okay, so I don't see a lot of Gyarados or Heatran, but as you see, you beat them anyways. You'll beat fellow Ho-Ohs. Well, this actually does it. Wait, don't you have Earthquake and Burp too? So in the one shield... This is very strange. Why does Ho-Oh beat you? This should be a simultaneous KO. Oh, so this is... I think this is a... So whichever bird wins CMP or has energy advantage will beat each other. So if you have a Ho-Oh switched into you, well, whatever has energy advantage will beat you. That's why the rating's like this. As you see, you don't stand a chance against Kyogre. Kyogre does do heavy damage unless you're in the 1-0. So in the 1-0s, you can take it down, but you have to double burp, which is pretty risky. And you take out you lose against Machamp since because of Rock Slide. You do beat, but I think if you shield the Rock Slide, you're good. Yeah, I think if you actually shield the Rock Slide, you're good. Because if they go straight Rock Slide and you do shield, you might be able to get to the burb. No, Machamp still wins. So Machamp can get to 2. You do lose against Machamp conventionally because Rock Slide just does so much damage. You do beat Melmetal, however, you do beat Melmetal. I think you can just go double Earthquake. Yeah, you Earthquake and then you burb. So Earthquake and then the burb, but you barely live. So be very careful. If Melmetal has energy advantage, it can take that matchup. Beat Mewtwo, you beat things like Metagross. Beat Snorlax, you beat Togekiss. These, so it looks good on paper, but it's kind of strange. So level 40, if you have a level 41, it's weird. Now here's where level 41 comes into play. With a level 41, you guarantee it guarantees do you win the... Okay, so you need a level 41 Ho-Oh to beat Dialga. But if Dialga is level 41 as well, what do we get? Okay, so you need a best... So there is a break point and a bulk point. Let's see, what's the... Okay, let's play with this a little bit, because Dialga with Thunder can beat you, but if you get... it looks like with a level 41, it does matter. Because, like, I was looking at it, and I was like... What if, like, I looked at this beforehand, before I made this video, and I was like, well, this is really interesting. So it looks like you do reach a new bulk and breakpoint with a level 41 Dialga. Or a level 41, so it looks like, okay, so the minimum to guarantee is level 41, and then here we go. So we have, let's say we have 14, 14, 14, so this is a 98, let's say, we switch it to a 98. Ho-Oh still wins. So it looks like Ho-Oh, let's try 15, 13, 13, something like that. Let's try this out. And then Dialga wins. Okay, so it looks like, let's see, 14, 14. It looks like the breakpoint is 14 attack and 14 defense. Ho-Oh still wins that match. It barely wins this matchup. Holy crud. So do you need, let's see, I'm thinking you need 15 attack and 15 defense. I think stamina can be a little... Yeah, 15 attack and 15 defense. So you need 15, 15, 14. So you can... It's 15, 15, 14. So you can only... Yeah. So a 98, level 41, you need 15 attack, 15... You need 15 attack, 15 defense. And then 14. Actually, can you... Do you need just 15 defense, or can you, like, stop the attack? Okay, so it looks like... Let's see, what's the breakpoint? It looks like the attack of Ho-Oh. Let's see, 13. Let's try 13. And then we're gonna go... So you still win. It looks like you need a 15 defense. Yeah, you need one with 15 defense. 15, 12, 15, 14 is your break point, it looks like. Or it looks like... Can you actually... So if you have a 10, 15, 14... Let's see this. Is there like a huge break point? Okay, so 10, 15, 14. So you can have a 10 attack one, but you need 15. 15, you need 15... well, just to be safe, I think... Get as high as you can... But it looks like, to guarantee it, you need 15 defense. So that's just kind of like the thing. Because Thunder Dialga is good for Kyogre, but it looks like it can also beat Ho-Oh. As you see, 15, 15, 14. So where do we have this spread? So what if you have... I'm just trying to play around with it right now and see like what we have. Well, you can play around on your own time, plug in your IVs here, and then see what you can figure out for Dialga. As you see here, you can manipulate your IVs and then figure out what to do against Dialga. As you see here, there is a one shield with the level 41. So level 41 Ho-Oh does flip some things, but yeah, level 41 Ho-Oh does flip some things, but that's in the one shield. Remember, you still lose the two shield, so the one shield is important. Now, the closer is the second best position for our friend here, Ho-Oh. When level 41, it looks like you're able to burb Conkeldurr to death. You beat Dialga convincingly. You don't beat the Thunder one because Thunder will KO you. Keep that in mind. You do beat Gira A because you're able to burb it to death, as we saw earlier. You still don't beat Giratina, and at this point, Groudon does beat you. So in the closer, it looks like you have strong matchups. You beat Melmetal, you beat Metagross, you also beat Mewtwo in the closer. And you beat Snorlax, you do lose against Togekiss, like I mentioned, so... Is Ho-Oh good? It's good, but there's a lot of things you need to know before you use Ho-Oh for Master League. Now, in even shield scenarios or the zero scenarios, things do flip. Now, what happens if you're up a shield? Alright, so this is what's good. If you're up a shield, you do beat a lot of the meta. Minus Garchomp, Garchomp, minus Garchomp with Earthquake. It looks like Dragonite. As well as, let's see, Giratina, Ho-Oh itself. You do beat... If you have up a shield, it looks like you beat a lot of the meta. Now, if you have 2 shields, of course, anything with 2 shields is absolutely, like, overpowering and amazing. But it looks like in the 2 shield, it looks like you beat everything but Kyogre. So Kyogre is incredibly powerful against you in all scenarios. Avoid Kyogre at all costs. As you see here, you only win in the 0-1s, and I think you only win the 0-1s because, let's see, you're able to double burb. But if you lose... But why do you lose the 2s? Yeah, why do you lose the 2 shield? Out of curiosity. Because, yeah, you win the 0-1s, but you lose the 2s. Why? You lose the 2s. Okay, this is a weird combination, but just either way, don't match up against Kyogre. Just don't. Yeah, just don't match up against Kyogre. Like, this is a weird sim, but, like, just don't match up against Kyogre. You beat Lugia, you beat everything but Kyogre. Just keep that in mind in the up 2 shields. But the 0-1s is probably where you're going to get the most, like, out of Ho-Oh or the 1 shield. Now, the 2-1s is interesting. And the 2-1s, as long as you have shield advantage, you beat everything but both versions of Gira and Kyogre. So, like I said, just keep away from Kyogre. And it looks like Palkia. If you see Palkia too, just be careful. So, anything with Dragon Breath, be careful. And just be careful of Kyogre for the most part. So, is it great? Yes. I'm just... Okay, this is very interesting. Ho-Oh's a very good mon. Incinerate does let it go really well, but I'm not too confident of its overall play in Master. Alright, so I rate Ho-Oh overall it's very hard to judge. I give it a 6 out of 10. The reason it's a 6, I would rate it lower, but it does do very well in certain scenarios. It's just difficult to play. Does that make sense? Ho-Oh is a very difficult mon to use because, as you saw in all shield scenarios, you lose a lot of matchups you flip in the 2. In the 2s, you lose a lot of matchups. If you flip it to the 1s, it's very... Yeah, it's just weird. It's very difficult to play, that's what I say. You have to be aware of the shield scenarios that you win, because it's a very awkward mon, because like I said, you win the 1 shield against Dialga, however, you lose the 2s. And it's very, like, it's level 40 and 41 doesn't make a difference. In other words, Ho is going to make you work a lot. So, here's Ho. As you see, it doesn't have great coverage. It does a lot to the meta. So, here's the top meta right here. As you see, it beats a lot of it. Gira-Oh. The other issue I have is that Gira-Oh just became readily available because Gira-Oh was out recently for raids because of Halloween. Because of that, you'll see a lot more Gira-Ohs out there. Along with that, Kyogres are plentiful. So, Ho-Oh can be really good, but you have to be very careful. So, for example, you have to be so careful. So, if we have Ho-Oh, let's assume we have a level Ho-Oh and a level 41 Dialga. I'm going to say level 41 because I think if you do run Dialga and Ho-Oh together, it would be much better to have Dialga as a better best buddy than Ho-Oh. As you see, this core is very powerful as a save switch. You holy mother of mercy. Wow. That's really good. What's your threat score? Your threat score is 542. So that's wow. It's really good. Well, anything with Dialga is going to be really good, but like look at Ho-Oh essentially covers what Dialga's weakness is. And your biggest threats look to be just Machamp because Machamp has Rock Slide. So it's kind of awkward because a fighter versus a flyer. Yeah, it's just weird. I'd say that. Say you close with something like Kyogre to beat other things, or just like have Blizzard in general. Like I said, it's very strong. very strong overall. Beats a lot of things. I would experiment a lot just because it's very strange how Ho-Oh works. Like I said, I've never, just for me, like I've ran a lot of Sims in my entire lifetime. I've never seen something that loses, like has such difficult play in the 2-to-1s. You know what I mean? It's hard to play. It's not readily available. You're gonna have a tough time finding a Ho-Oh with Earthquake, and if you really do want to use one, it has to be level 41. In other words, you're gonna have to decide whether or not you want to give up your level 41 Dialga for Ho-Oh, just so that Ho-Oh can beat it. So it's very difficult it's difficult to use Ho-Oh. That's it. That's what I'd say. It can be a very good mon. If you know your scenarios, it can be very strong. That's why I rate it as a 6. Unfortunately, it's just hard to get, hard to play. Those are the two main things. Hard to get, hard to play. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you guys like the video, please like the video and sub. Like I said, I really want to give it more of a chance, but Ho-Oh doesn't look like it's overly dominant in it looks good on paper, but it's going to you're going to have to know what to do with Ho-Oh. It's going to take a lot of skill for you to master Ho-Oh, because Incinerate is slow. Even though it generates energy, it's a 5-turn move. It's only 5-turn move in the game, and it's the slowest move in the game to generate energy. In other words, it takes you 10 moves to generate 40 energy, which is not great. I do practice, though. I practice with Ho-Oh. Do your homework. Practice with it. If you really want to use Ho-Oh, I don't see why it wouldn't be really good. But at the same time, you need to do a lot of practice before. You need to give it a lot of. You need to do a lot of practice and know your stuff when you use Ho-Oh for Master League, Go Battle League.